right, let's get back to it. Oh my god. Okay. Stop making Susanoo a crepe! Oh, she'd probably be like Sakura flavored crepe. 22nd November, 11:38 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. I will never be able to get that right. Defendants Antechamber 5. Next time I take a break, I'm just gonna listen to someone say that word over and over again. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. That was superb. Ugh. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. I want to finish this though. At least the first case. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there, you were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight. Before I knew it, you started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. 10 altogether. Well, okay, it's 2 games, 5 cases in each one. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it. It's terrifying. Even if I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. I got news for you. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett, a student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observations are one thing I'm sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then, on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor. And just after I bent down and picked it up... Bang-oo! I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. What's with putting Naruhodo in things? Like inside a pantry, inside a closet, a suitcase? Fast thinking by the detective. He apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. It takes place in the Meiji era. Meiji, Victorian England. Meiji, Japan, Victorian England. There you are. Well done, both of you. Professor Mikotoba. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. How many chapters? Are you talking like to be continues, or? You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy. Our justice system even more so. Which is why there's 5 in this first game. I firmly believe that we need to send out our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life, I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. Kazuma, you're too hard on yourself. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. Well, I can tell you there's 3 to be continues in this particular case, this first case. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma. Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes. You need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UME. And it was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. Oh, you sure? This is like... If you like the trilogy, I definitely recommend picking up this duology, because it is probably, in my opinion, the best modern Ace Attorney game, despite the fact that it takes place in the past. But I have no doubt that you pair will put a good fight right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. Now then. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Well, that's still the same from the Japanese version. Defendant Naruhodo. Court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow before those old fossils know what's hit them. Sogi's theme. Kazuma? What? Thank you. Really? What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already have been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend. Oh, these two. Oh, my heart, sorry. Coming from you, that means a lot. Oh, I can still feel it. I can still feel it between these two. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. Which, now, in retrospect, this whole line just seems kinda odd, considering why Asogi wanted to go to Great Britain. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. My translator translated this to beef nabe, but sukiyaki is correct. With an extra large portion, of course. Beef nabe! Anyway, 22nd November, 12:09 p.m. Supreme Court of the Judicature. Courtroom 2. Judicature. Judicature. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Aochi, have you managed to subpoena the witness?
Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Too bad.
Sorry. Don't apologize for that. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about. Of course he is! He's in every Ace Attorney game!
It's highly unlikely that the good relations we forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down our nation's founders?
Again, terribly sorry. Naro, don't worry about it. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on.
Kazuma's spitting facts, though!
You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke.
What do you mean?
A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England?
Shut up! Shut up, you jumped-up rookie boy! You and your friend know nothing! Nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical.
Thanks for subscribing!
Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures.
I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there is one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all.
Those are powerful words, Naruhodo.
Screenshot. Well said, Ryunosuke. Despite the wide-eyed look of terror.
You little brats!
Thank you, Council. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. This game is going to murder me in English. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Brett.
Yes!
Boink.
Your Excellency!
Ouch. That looked painful. Boy, she's a piece of work too. Look at that outfit. Her outfit in HD. Oh God, here comes the swooning.
Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land.
Tea. Someone bring English tea. In England, no discussions take place without tea. Is that true? No idea.
So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court?
Oh, she definitely is! Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. No, not you! I have been working undercover as the head waiter at Lake...
Yes, we know all about you already!
Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea. And I don't care. More importantly, a little earlier today, you said something to me. You said your powers of observations are the one thing you're sure of. Oh, yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Ryunosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Guilty.
So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please.
Get ready for the squiggles! Squiggles! They're here! Also, I'm stretching right now as we admire the squiggles. Good luck trying to read that. Oh, okay. I'm not trying to read that. Too fancy for you.
I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but... What? Psst, 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 psst.
Sorry, I'm loving the animation between these two. The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student, currently enrolled in UMay University's medical facility.
Oh my! What a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people! I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song.
Oh, jeez, ouchie. That's really painful, as far as I can tell. The detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. You obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? God. She says yes. All that for one word? This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese. Is that a fork? That one of the squiggles looks like a fork. She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Privileged. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau.
Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime.
She has very colorful words for why she doesn't want to use Japanese.
Could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps?
Apparently it was very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say? Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Poor Naruto! Stop bullying him! Order! Order in the court!
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement.
Bullshit. Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Yep, it is. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. Yep, there is a fork in the cursive thingy. Witness testimony! A frightening and sorrowful sight. Oh yeah, I'm sure it is for her. Oh my god. Here we go. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. She likes her beef. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. She's forking around with the testimony. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. This is a condemning testimony.
Yes!
No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all.
Objection!
Quiet, you filthy wretch! Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard! And look at this snow-white angel!
Oh, ouchie, stop sucking up to her.
I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe.
Ugh. You're still making the same mistakes, Ryunosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're golded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. Ugh, but he's so annoying! Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the two witnesses who testified before, and reported back to the bureau. Yes, well, the witnesses from before were lying, because you told them not to... Whatever. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. Oh, God. The testimony of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere but about her person where she could conceal a firearm. I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to.
Unless and until the precise location where the witnesses to have hidden a weapon can be shown, this is moot.
I mean, have you heard about Victorian hygiene back then? There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witnesses' own words on the matter. Dude, I want to see someone try to cosplay Giselle. No lie there. I want to see that. Ah, that's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove— Oh, no, Naruhodo. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun here that day. You're right about that, which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, it's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart.
Smile in HD.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. Cross-examination! A frightening and sorrowful sight.
Yes!
After 2 p.m. In fact, that's really quite a late lunch, isn't it?
Objection!
You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are in vogue, isn't that right?
No.
Ah!
Yo, she actually said no! Huh. A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. So it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. What about second breakfast? Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Yes, that all makes perfect sense.
Such wonderful logic. What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is.
So you both arrive at the restaurant. What happened next?
Yes!
He was unable to eat, you say? And that was because he just had a tooth removed at Hara Clinic, correct? That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering. Was Ms. Brett aware of that fact? Thank you, Osogi. It seems so, yes. She heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak picture here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have here shows the table exactly as it was left here, that was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left?
Dear me, what a harrowing experience! To have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight.
So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all? That's right, other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Ryanosuke, about the witness's last statement? Oh, it's very meaningful. Please put that in.
Baby slaps!
That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case.
Well, well, well. How fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing,
His wondering eyes! The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony.
Ha! Well, sidestep, counsel.
Very well. Miss Brett, kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly, she said. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm gonna remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. No. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryanosuke. I ordered a beefsteak for myself, and the professor and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. Did you? Where's the other... Wait. Where's the other glass, then? Okay, I'm gonna press this just because I can press it, but I'm pretty sure I gotta present that picture.
Yes!
So both you and the professor drank this carbonated water, did you? Yes. Being the waiter, I poured the 2 glasses myself. I clearly remember doing so.
Well, there's the other glass.
Except you're actually a detective. And the beef steak, that was for you, Miss Brett. The lady says that she heard it was not customary to eat beef here until Japan opened its doors to the world. Yes, that's true. What a frightful place, is the lady's opinion. And I've heard it's not customary to eat sashimi in Great Britain. Now that's frightful. That's a good line. Sorry, that's a good line. That's a good localized line. Every country has its own cuisine. As long as people have food to eat, what does it matter what it is? I want to see if I can find that, because I want to know what was in here. Oh wow, okay, I can't find it right now. The script is fat and long. True. Come to think of it, the first time I tried carbonated water, it was much more of a shock than the first time I tried beef. But anyway, back to this witness's statement. I love this face he makes. Somehow I feel there's something out of place in what she's saying. Yeah, where's the other glass? We need to pounce on even the slightest thing now, because you never know what might lead us to our goal. Our goal of turning this trial around. Understood, Kazuma. God, these two are besties.
Yes!
I never got into an argument with the professor. All I did when I noticed him was go over to say hello. Please, don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese.
No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future. We must all speak English. Oh.
There's the line! There's the line we all saw in the trailer! Oh, God help us! I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever, or only in the presence of a beautiful woman. Well, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I have to find something that will unravel her testimony, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. English is very cumbersome. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his seat. That part ties in with what you said, doesn't it? Yes, I still had some coffee to drink. And the next time you got up after that was when I finished my coffee and stood up to leave. Then, not long after... Oh, no, I don't want to read that.
Yes!
Like I said, I did not shoot that gun. And like I said, there's no point repeating that assertion over and over. Well, I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side.
Nevertheless, defendant, you can't deny that when the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had a gun in your hand.
Well, yes, that's true, but... Baby slaps! All I did was pick up the gun I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. In fact, yes, there was someone much closer to the victim than me at the time. The highly suspicious lady...
That will do, you dirty, rotten scoundrel!
Dirty?
Your baseless accusations could very well cause an international incident, boy!
It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours.
What nonsense!
The lady is merely stating what she saw. No, she's lying! And this is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned anyway. Poor Naruhodo. Speak English.
Yes!
It's all very well saying that, but can you prove it? Absolutely. I verified it personally. You verified it? Yes, immediately after the incident, I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon.
Did you really check her?
I distinctly remember her saying, "I'm not." That's all you did? You just asked her? Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector. No. Oh my god, why on earth not?
The honorable English gentlewoman clearly stated that she did not possess a weapon. There was obviously no need for any further probing into the matter.
No! Or there was no permission given for any further probing into the matter, perhaps.
Think what you will. But if you're going to continue with this preposterous claim that the refined lady was concealing a firearm, the prosecution demands that you support your assertion with facts.
In other words, he wants evidence. Ugh. The lady wishes to point out that of course she wanted to stay and assist the investigation. No, you didn't, but she was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university, so she was compelled to leave. Not to mention the fact that your office had told you to get the woman out of there. Not get her out of there, I just urged her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime. Doubt. Which is why she is only too happy to cooperate and testify here in court today, of course.
Hello and welcome! Unlike a certain student who refuses to admit when the game is up. You could at least have the courtesy to pay attention when I'm goading you!
No! So she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor, at the end of which you shot him. which is an out-and-out, totally unfounded lie. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. Excuse me? I'm dressed exactly the same way as you are, except for the flapping red ribbons. Well, anyway, this is our only chance to expose her testimony as the fiction that it is. If we can't do that, the trial's over. Even you, with your thick skin, must be able to feel the murderous looks you're getting from around the room. Only too well. I feel half dead already. And the fact that I can't see a single inconsistency in her testimony isn't making me feel any better either. I got you! The first thing to do is to press her on any of her statements that seem even slightly off to you. Do that, and an opening will present itself. I promise you. Look at those two. They're locking eyes. Pictures. Anyway. I need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that's hiding behind the mask. That's what I should be aiming for in this cross-examination. Okay, well, we already know where to present. I just gotta get there first. Present the photo.
Yes!
Here. Good. That's it. Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Baby slap! Well, it's odd. Very odd.
Dear me, what's odd is the defense's inability to express itself.
Ugh. Mionosuke, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Kazuma, you don't... Well, obviously, it's the cheers.
The cheers?
Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. Ah. You're quite right, Counsel. There's only 1 glass pictured here.
Objection!
Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over Minute?
Bottle was the glass. What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case?
Objection!
Minute, you say. Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me you can clink with only 1? Naruho's got a point there. You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious. Sorry.
There! As I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all.
Oh, please.
We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in her state of disarray?
Oh, that's wishy-washy. That's absurd.
Oh, really? So, do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young, and beautiful woman of mischief?
What? No, this can't be put down to mischief. Someone died, damn it. I'd like to know. 6 eyes? Exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. Bitch talking Japanese! It would seem that she slipped into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England.
So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing to the case. On the case.
Huh.
This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning.
Isn't that the point?
But in the end, it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already.
Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement?
No!
Well, I don't know, really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance here, it's... I don't remember actually what this was. I'll just go with a handbag. Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say?
Yes! Do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items.
Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. Okay, yes, the handbag, because we have to figure out where she put her gun away. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag. Baby slap, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too.
What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard?
It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will.
You can't seriously be suggesting.
Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. Boy, you're a great detective, as I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag.
No!
Man, hear that gallery. Order, order, order.
What is the meaning of this, Inspector?
The meaning of what, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations.
Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? Hosonaga? Honey? Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. Nope, I don't. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting. Simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I had to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. This print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag.
Well, I'd never. It's a see-through bag. You could see right through to what's inside.
That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment.
So the contents are clearly visible.
Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious.
Ugh!
As you can see, there's nothing to imply Ms. Brett's guilt here.
Oh god, they head tilted together.
Thank you for proving that. For helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san.
Ah! The mass is a gun. Order, order, order! Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. The swan is a gun.
Certainly, Your Excellency. Photograph of handbag. A photograph taken by Hosonaga-san after the incident occurred. It shows Miss Brett's handbag on a chair by the victim's table.
Honk out gunpowder. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness counsel. No! Don't put him in that pose! The court has now been shown considerable evidence, as the photographic print just submitted into the court of record appears to have no further significance. I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling.
Indeed, and there's only one logical conclusion. That the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime.
Raise your head, Naruto. We have 9 cases to get through.
No. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around.
Did you know, Suki, that the objection theme hasn't actually played for Naruto yet?
I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start.
Oh no! Oh no! We got the pose! Suki!
Kazuma?
Honey! Go take that picture.
I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue.
What?
You mean this is it?
I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat, while the strong eat. You are wasting your time. There's no way to defeat true justice.
This is not true justice.
A fact you can chew on to your heart's content from the inside of your cell.
This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? And Kazuma, his dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma. What? Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest. Which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue.
I know how we can do this. Can we look at this picture again? Very well. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling.
It seems we will be able to report to the British government on time after all.
That smug little... Ryunosuke Naruhodo, having considered all of the evidence placed before me,
Yes!
I hereby... Suki, you are on point, but that's not quite where we need to be at the moment of this case.
Wait, Your Excellency. Ryunosuke? I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
Objection!
This amateurishness is getting tedious. When it actually deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom.
Yes!
I really kind of wish they went with sir instead of yes, because yeah, yes works in certain places, but it doesn't work in every section.
Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. We have to find something else in the photo. Now that means that if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question.
Objection!
This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence.
Oh, there's a problem. Let me point it out, because I've already done this. You better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. Look at his hand. Look at the victim's hand. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag.
Ha! My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes.
Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. No, that's the bag for Giselle. I can't imagine Wilson carrying around that. Very well, I will grant the defense one final opportunity.
What?
What a reasonable judge. But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at the photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify it for the court where in this print we see the significant detail to which you have alluded. What's this mark over here?
Yes!
Look at this, here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection!
Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly it has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag.
Yes, that is a burn mark. You're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report.
What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either.
The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Prosecutor Aochi points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise detail of this burn. I got the piece of evidence! Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Ms. Brett has a lunch appointment with the dean and other university staff. Oh no, you're not going anywhere! You stay right here, you dumb bird! She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now.
Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway.
No, he's not! What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging, in the hope that I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am? If we can just link the burn to the case, if we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again.
Just give up, counsel. You can't possibly hope to do that.
I got evidence! Come on! Indeed, I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. But if we had evidence... evidence that irrefutably linked the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it. I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what did I notice? What I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face. Really? I have to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means. So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. Evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial.
Yes!
Gotcha. What's this, counsel? Yet another print. Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Those are almost exactly the same lines. I remember reading those. Almost exact lines.
Do hurry up, rookie! What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further really would be quite inexcusable.
Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer, if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is it in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn?
You know, this is a little harder without a stylus.
Yes!
The beefsteak?
Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate.
Oh, Your Excellency, are you alright?
As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. Oh. This emblem on the plate. And the victim's burn are exactly the same shape.
Ah!
Ryanosuke, you genius. You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. Rubble, rubble, rubble. You go, Naruhodo, you go.
But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time.
Well,
Objection!
Thank you, Osogi. Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchi, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks.
Why?
The outline of the burn is clearly indiscernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly.
But...
I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. So he got burned, but there was no sound. He didn't shout. No one remembers him shouting. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim would have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter at La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. You're a detective, but okay.
But you're a detective, not a waiter!
Yes!
Brandon! There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream. Not on the day or any before it. That's right. And the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Huh? Well, yes, I suppose.
So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think... Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrived at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson... Actually, was already deceased, that's the answer, but I'm gonna pick a wrong one because I wanted to see the dialogue. Yes, the professor, with his tendency to nod off, was asleep when his hand fell onto a piping hot plate and didn't even notice the burn happening. You didn't even know the professor, and yet here you are, labeling him as a dim-witted dozer. How about I hold your wrist on a hot plate and we see if you can sleep through it? Perhaps the scream you let out will wake you up a bit. Well, it's nice that there's this frankness developing between us, partner. Don't call me partner after coming out with nonsense like that. This is a critical moment. It may very well be our only chance to turn things in our favor. So come on, Ryunosuke. You can do it. Or rather, you have to do it. You're the only one who can. There's only one explanation I can think of, and I'm gonna skip that and pick the other wrong answer. I love these two. Yes, the professor, being an absent-minded as usual, was unaware of his hand falling onto the piping hot plate and didn't even notice the burn happening. Oh, you didn't even know the professor, and yet here you are, labeling him as a bumbling scatterbrain. How about I hold your wrist on a hot plate, and we see how your bumbling scatterbrain copes? Perhaps the scream you let out will wake you up a bit. Well, skip that. Skip that. It's slightly different. They changed one phrasing. Anyway. They're really friends, I assure you. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible. Apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead.
Already
Dead? We got you, Brad. We got you. Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead.
That's madness!
Order, please! Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once! Her swan was cooked. The victim was killed by a gunshot.
That's right! That's absolutely right, Your Excellency! This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student. But clearly he has no grasp of the facts!
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Ouchie. It's you who has no grasp of the facts.
I beg your pardon?
As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. We got you! Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. Sit down, you're here for a while.
But, Your Excellency!
The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I'm prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. What was that smile?
Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help.
Bitch!
Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours.
Miss Brett, you speak Japanese?
Well, of course I do. I'm studying in your country after all.
But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now?
My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible.
Wow. A gentlewoman, everybody!
But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level.
Oh, well. You are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. No, she's not. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us.
She's a I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So we're finally going to hear our own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke. The victim's death. And the music's picked up!
Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glass in a toast. As far as I've heard, the postmortem reports show no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please, do show me.
Poison.
But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway.
Bitch! Bitch woman! That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you. No! Easy does it.
I hope that is the last time I'll have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone.
Not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's bird is utterly irrelevant.
I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today.
The Minister of Justice?
May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Teehee. Amen.
Huh? Thanks? Was that a prayer then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with the cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much.
Giselle Biatch, yes!
I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear?
There it is! Yes! Love it!
Put your game face on, Rand. Oh, put your lawyer face on, not your game face. Yes, Your Excellency, and I didn't mean to push that. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Cross-examination! Boom! The victim's deaf. Let's go.
Yes!
But his hand was on the searing hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You can't not have noticed.
Do you think so? Let me ask you something.
Oh, I know what's coming. Sorry?
Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those unsightly black trousers of yours has been wide open. You cannot have noticed, can you?
Huh? What? Ah!
Ah, what fun. You hadn't realized. Teehee.
The dear lady is absolutely right!
As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself, Ryunosuke. Why didn't you tell me?
Indeed, why didn't you tell her?
Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing?
Oh yes, I think my tiny brain can!
Yes!
Well, I can't.
Anyway,
Yes!
Hosonaga looks so bummed right now. As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right?
Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at that time, if you remember. Which explains why he ordered that drink, correct, waiter?
Exactly as you say, sir. Although,
whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table, I'm afraid I don't remember that. Damn you.
I've heard enough English to understand that, at least. For the benefit of others in the court, it means, bless you!
yeah, sure. I think it means the exact opposite.
Anyway,
Yes!
Yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma.
yes.
Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And as there were no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death, it can only have been the bullet from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life.
But it doesn't make sense. The burn must have happened straight away, when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. Yes, that's true. If it had cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. And if the victim burnt his wrist on the hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, then he must have already been dead at that point.
Objection!
And yet, the fact is that the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Until you're able to show the court's evidence to disprove that, this is a complete waste of time.
I concur. Prosecutor Alchi is right.
Teehee.
Yes!
Without leaving a trace.
If someone is shot, or strangled, or stabbed, or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there are always telltale signs on the body.
Quite right, dear lady. And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosonaga?
As I've said, I've always aimed for the flawless investigation. They're both being alive yanked. That would be physical traces with all those causes of deaths. That's true. But maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. Poison!
If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it?
Oh, no, perish the thought! Calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question. On my honor, I, Takasuchi Aochi, will cut down any who dare cast such aspirations. Aspersions?
A way of killing someone that leaves no trace. We need some evidence to back us up here. Now there's the problem. We don't have evidence for that at the moment. Yes, evidence. There's nothing I have right now that I can actually present to prove it.
Yes!
Inferior? What do you mean by that?
In the land of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at the crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once, and that's the end of it. Isn't that so?
Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident.
Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. It doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can. You understand?
Aha! A killer blow! The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful.
Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Aochi is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. It was a moment before, and something didn't seem quite right. What do you think, Ryanosuke? I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Maybe not from her, but it looks like Hosonaga has something. Yes, as I suspected. She's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. There is, just give me a moment. Kazuma. What, Ryanosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Hosonaga. The detective. Yes, he seems to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time instead of targeting the woman herself. Let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. So, for those who don't know about this mechanic coming up, a lot of people are going to assume that the Great Ace Attorney introduced this mechanic, but it was actually introduced in a crossover game. Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney introduced the pressing of witnesses and also I don't know what the term is. I can't think of the term right now. But basically, while a witness is testifying, you can also press another witness in the middle of it. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Ms. Brett on her last statement again. This game takes a lot from the crossover game. I actually haven't heard Hosanaga's English voice very well too, so I get to hear it now.
Wait.
Oh! Oh, I like that! I like that English voice. It works! Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Barrett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the English woman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? The song again. When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. You're right. Look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man in his train of thought. Sorry? Pursue? Ah, so we're gonna call it pursue? I'll explain how to do it now, Ryunosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker. What marker? At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. But by moving the marker left and right with the cross catch button, the plus pad thingy, you can turn your attention to the other people in the stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with A. If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand, take a good look around. Alright then, so first I should move the marker across with plus plus and focus on the... I'm calling it plus plus now. Then pursue with him with A, and see what's on his mind. Here we go.
Wait.
I'm pushing the thing. Why is it not giving it to me? Thank you. What am I pushing here? Hey.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. So good. Well, what's the meaning of this? Wow. Naruto said excuse me. He was being so polite. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. Ow, hold on. I gotta fix my headset. He really was lost in his thoughts. Deeply. It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say? If there's something you'd like to say, please, share it with the court.
Objection!
What is the meaning of this? It's a delightful English woman who's testifying at the moment. If you can't find fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over. Immediately.
Oh, is that how it works? No! Absolutely not.
Huh?
The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Baby slap! Yes, not to mention the fact he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? I just find it funny that he was politely asking him and he just got he's startled. But to be fair, Japanese Naruhodo is very loud compared to English Naruhodo. Well, yes, if you don't mind, I would like to speak. Just sit down, Brett. The detective's talking. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Thanks, Matt. Holy, wait, no, KV, that was you. Holy crap, thanks for all those gifts. Which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. Sorry, all I saw was Matt's name, so... What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I love this fist pump from Hosonaga. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. All right then. Honey, you want some water? A crime scene thief? Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example. It's the bottle! Is that... This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. So there's some left in the bottle. I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. Time is coming. I guarantee it. Okay, but maybe you guys are going to be too good in the future. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. Carbonated water bottle. The carbonated water the victim and Miss Brett shared on the day of the murder. It was on the victim's table. Miss Brett. Can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death?
Yes, it was that bottle.
What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. She's hiding something. Very well, counsel. You may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor. We have evidence now. But first I want to look at it. I can't... Whoop. Oh, okay. Oh, right. I gotta wait for the... Okay. Alright. First things first, this. So this is carbonated water. So this carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. It looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now. You know, I've been sweating so much, I'm absolutely parched. Naruhodo, do not drink evidence! I'll just have a sip of this to keep me going. No! No, Ryunosuke, you can't do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence. Oh, no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me, Ryunosuke, in more ways than one. I wonder, could there be anything in this water? What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility. One more thing. The label is written in foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. This must be very expensive water. Yes, but what does it say? That's what I was asking. Then go to France and ask. You could just say that you don't know. I'm good! That line hasn't changed at all! Anyway, okay, we have evidence now. As soon as I remember how to push buttons. Alright, I'll give you evidence, bitch.
Yes!
What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. There we go!
Poison?
On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Come on! Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass?
Rubble.
Order! And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink. There's only one person who could have possibly done it. Giselle Brett, it was you!
Objection!
This is outrageous! Just is there such a thing without a scrap of evidence? You little rookie imbecile! Have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Friendship, right? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusation could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one's crime.
What?
The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth.
If I may.
I will silence you forever with shut up!
Ooh, that's a good shut up. Wow, I thought DGS's shut up was good, but that was good. Kudos to whoever voiced this Giselle in English. That was so good. I'm drinking water. Give me a moment. Holy crap, that was really good.
It is you who should be silent.
Of course! Dear lady!
Where did that come from? She just snapped.
I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies.
I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring?
I described your police force as inferior. But no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not.
Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? Wait, you you didn't find poison? Is that what it means? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And what did you find, Inspector? I order tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. Huh? What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. No. No!
Rubble, 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 rubble.
I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you.
But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours.
I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, Counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Brett. No, don't apologize to this bitch!
Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved.
Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point? Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more.
Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving.
Rubble, 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 rubble.
Hold it! Susato's hold it! Susato! So good!
Please, wait.
Isn't that What is the meaning of this?
Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikatoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense.
Mikatoba? In my darkest hour. She is the quote-unquote Maya. Well, she is the Maya of the group, but she's anything but Maya. She is my favorite assistant. In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package, wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. That was a beautiful hold it from her. Is that to be continued? There it is. All right, here's the last to be continue, and then we will beat this case. So, I'm going to take